what do you say to the people who believe it's too late? Because I know one of your beliefs is that we're just on the edge of what's to come in terms of greater innovation. So yeah, I would love to hear you expand on what you're telling people who are thinking, oh my God, I'm too late to this. Look, Brian Clark already did it.
Yeah. No, I know. And it's another thing that's frustrating, but you're like, just keep your eyes open. There's always another wave. So guess what my first business was, Danny, in 98? The only one that failed.
I actually came across this on my research, but I'm blanking on it right now.
Email newsletters.
That's right.
Now, what's real hot right now?
Email newsletters. That's right.
See? Okay. So one thing that's eternal is email. No matter what you wrap it up in, blogging, podcasting, YouTube, you've got to get people back to your own asset, and that's your email list. But then again, so when I became known, as opposed to the first 7 years, I did it through the context of blogging, but I broke every rule of blogging there was, right?
Mm-hmm.
Tried to make it more like a magazine, wrote longer content, made it educational, not personal. So there's always room to disrupt the status quo, to zig when other people are zagging, and go in a different direction, even within the context of what you think you're too late on.
Mm-hmm.
But of course, after, blogging, then content marketing, which is what we were doing, got a name. And then that was the thing. And then that gave way to podcasting, right? Then that was a big thing. And now people are like, is it too late to start a podcast? You just say, and now we're really back raging hard with email newsletters. So first of all, it's never too late for something good or great, mm-hmm. I should say. The context has changed. I mean, blogging before 2010 and the early social media was a gold mine of viral distribution and traffic. It just doesn't exist anymore. Now you have to pay for that because, again, Facebook and what have you became mature juggernauts now as advertising platforms. But to something that you said earlier, I mean, think about, if you can, what year were you born?
1995.
Okay. So see, I was on the internet before you were born. That makes me feel good. But think about what the internet was like in the 90s. Pretty primitive. We had the .com thing where everyone was insane and threw a bunch of money at crazy business models. That exploded, imploded, whatever. But just think about that internet compared to where we are today. And then imagine that where we are today is more primitive than where we're going to be in 10 years. Doesn't seem possible, right?
Yeah.
But I suspect it is, because augmented and virtual reality, it's going to take a while to catch on. It's just like with AI. It was like everyone talked about AI for so long, and then all of a sudden GPT-3 was here, and it was like, oh my God, this thing can create content. Like, that didn't just happen out of nowhere. It was happening a long time, and then it breaks through. Now everyone's like, oh God, am I going to have a job? Is this computer going to do everything? Write the code, write the content? And the answer to that is no, but it's going to be a creative writer's best friend, that technology. Anyway, so the way the internet now runs is basically a page metaphor. And all the dumbest mistakes that have been made in the last 20, 25 years of the internet have been taking offline concepts and apply them to the internet, like the banner ad. Bad idea, but it was like a print magazine metaphor, and that's what people knew, and that's what they tried. So once you move beyond a page metaphor to a place metaphor, you're going to see the entire web transform. There's a standard that's been in play for a few years, more than a few years now, where once we have the hardware that allows for augmented and virtual reality, then web pages will then become places instead of pages. Now imagine you get in on that early. I know it's crazy. But the pandemic has been awful. But what it did do was speed up virtualization at a rapid pace. So now you're going to see more people on board with each incremental improvement or change that we go forward with. So the whole thing that's going to break the whole augmented and virtual reality thing will be, I think, Apple. They've had AR glasses in development for a couple of years now. We may see them this fall, and it's crazy because the iPhone changed the world, but we're going to look back at the phone and go, God, that was dumb. It was a dumb interface for information when you can instead have it right in front of your face. But I'm just telling people, okay, look, if anything, everyone who was holding out on digital in business got on board when, bricks and mortars were basically shutting down. So now you've got everyone on board. Online business is something that is no longer scoffed at. Now everyone is like, how do I do this? Right. So that's a great thing for people who create software, who create courses, who have podcasts and blogs and whatnot that guide people along to help them, because how can it be too late when you have millions of people clamoring, going, I don't understand any of this? That's the way you need to look at it. We were all early adopters. And it seems like in my world, well, everyone understands content marketing. No, they don't, not in the real world. And I would suggest get out of your little bubble and go talk to real people that aren't like you, and you'll discover a world of opportunity right there. So even before we get to the freaky science fiction Ready Player One virtual reality scenario, it's coming. Don't scoff. Pay attention to tech trends, because technology converges right now at a point where it's not just AI advances. AI mixes with augmented reality and something crazy happens. Automation, we're going to have self-driving cars mainstream probably in 3-4 years. That's crazy. I can't wait, because think of how many people die because of stupid car accidents. But it's going to be an interesting decade. It's going to be a chaotic decade, not just politically, but because of the disruption that this technology and specifically automation is going to have. There's going to be a lot of people who need retraining. There are going to be a lot of people who need help with digital concepts that you may take for granted, but they don't. So again, curse of knowledge. Don't assume people know what you know, and you'll find an entire world of opportunity right in front of you.